Hi friends, Miss A here. Today we are going to work on our last lesson from Module 5, which is going to be Lesson 28 and 29. So today we are going to compare fractions with the same numerator pictorially. So let's get started. I want you to take a moment and write as many fractions as you can that are equal to 1/2. So you could write your answer like this. So take a moment and I want you to pause the video, write as many fractions that are equal to 1/2 that you know. Think about our trick that we did yesterday and how we can add on to what we know and how we can make equal fractions. So right now we're going to get started with our word problem, and LaTanya has 2 equal-sized hot dogs. She cuts the first one into thirds at lunch. Later, she cuts the second hot dog to make double the number of pieces. Draw a model of LaTanya's hot dog. Now, we want to make sure we're reading, drawing, writing. So I have my word problem, and I want to first find out what exactly is the question asking. So A, how many pieces is the second hot dog cut into? And B, if she wants to eat 2/3 of the second hot dog, how many pieces should she eat? So I need to underline my work. And I know 2 equal-sized hot dogs is important. Next, she cuts the first one into thirds, and then she cuts the second to make double the number of the first one. So I'm going to draw 2 hot dogs to kind of get my picture going. Before I do that, though, I want to look and see what the question's asking me, what I need to really focus on. So I need to draw a model, and I need to find out how many pieces is the second hot dog cut into. And I want to underline that if she wants to eat 2/3 of the second hot dog, how many pieces should she eat? So I have my first hot dog of 3 pieces and my second hot dog into double the number. So you can draw 2 pictures just like I did. So you have your 3 pieces here. And in order to double it, I just broke these pieces in half. So as I'm doing this, you can pause the video and do it with me and then check your work. But we're going to keep on going. So now we know the second hot dog is cut into 6 pieces because it said over here, how many pieces is the second hot dog? Well, if she makes double of 3, we know that's 6. So I'm going to shade in 2/3 as my first one. And let's move this over. She should eat 4/6 of it. So that means 4 pieces. So we want to make sure we read, we drew a picture, we wrote our numbers over here. So this 4/6 is the same as 2/3. So what if, though, LaTanya eats 2 pieces of each hot dog? What do you think would happen? Take a moment, think. So I have 2/3 over here. I have 1 piece and 2 pieces. So my 2/3 right here. And I have 2 pieces right here, which is 2 out of 6 pieces. So did LaTanya eat the same amount of each hot dog? Take a moment, think. But she ate 2 pieces of each hot dog. Why is the amount she ate different? Why is this 2/6 different than 2/3? So we know that the number of pieces is the same. She ate 2 pieces here, 2 pieces here, but the size of the piece is different. So we know that 2/3 is bigger than 2/6 of the hot dog that she ate. Alright, so now I have these 2 hot dogs right here. I want you to draw them, number 1. So you should already have a pencil and a paper with you. And you need to estimate, to partition. When we partition, that means to break it up, to break it into pieces. And today we are working with fourths. So this partitioning into fourths. So your pizzas should look like mine now. So now we need to partition or break the second pizza to double the number of units. So my number of units is what? Look at what we broke it into. And now how can I take this second pizza and double it? So I'm going to draw 2 lines. So I see that there are 4. So now I have 8ths over here. So what units do we have? We have a group of 4 or fourths, and we have 8 or 8ths. So we have 8 over here, and we know if I just double 4, I get 8. So I want you to shade in 3/4 and 3/8. So as I'm doing it, you should be doing this as well. So I have 3/4 over here and 3/8 on my second pizza. So which shaded portion would you rather eat, the 4ths or the 8ths? Take a moment, think. Would you rather eat 4ths or 8ths? And why? Both pieces are 3. Aren't they equivalent, right? So I have 3 pieces right here, 3 pieces here. Why are they equivalent or not? What do you think? So we know that the 4ths is the larger number. So the larger pieces are 4ths and the smaller pieces are 8ths. So yes, there are 3 pieces on each pizza, but the 8ths is a little bit smaller than the 4ths. So if you had a choice, you would rather break your pizza into 4 pieces than 8ths, because your 3 pieces are going to be a little bit bigger. So they aren't equivalent because our sizes of the pizza are bigger. Now for lesson 29, we're going to compare fractions using the numerator with the same numerator using greater than, less than, or equal to model about their size. So again, we have a word problem. We need to read, draw, write. And the first thing I need to do is read what I have here. So Catherine and Diana buy matching scrapbooks. Catherine decorates 5/9 of the page in her book. Diana decorates 5/6 of the pages in her book. Who has decorated more pages of her scrapbook? So I want you to draw a picture to support your answer. So pause right here, do this on your own, and then come back and check with me. All right, so we know that Catherine decorates 5/9 of her book, and Diana decorates 5/6 of her book. So I need to figure out who has decorated more pages, and I need to draw a picture. So let's do that. I know that my first one up is Catherine, which she decorates 5/9 of it. So I just draw a box like this with 5 shaded in out of 9. And Diana has 5/6 of her book. Now, I need to find out who decorates more pages. And we know that just by looking at the picture, Diana has decorated more of her scrapbook than Catherine. And we know this by looking at the piece sizes. So the 9s are smaller piece size than our 6. So if you're drawing this at home, make sure your boxes, your picture, are the same length, and that's going to help you solve it. So let's keep going. So now I want you to draw these shapes on your board. So on your paper, you can draw 2 shapes, 2 squares, 2 diamonds, just like mine on mine. And I want you to partition or break them into 6ths. So you can do yours like that, and I did mine like this. Now I want you to partition the second shape to show double the number of units in the same whole. So double the second box over here. So it should look like this. Now, what fractional units do we have? What are my units for this box? What are my units for that box? We know this first one is 6, and if I double it, it is 12ths. So if we need to shade in 4 units of each shape, I want you to label the shaded fraction below yours. So if I shade in 4 pieces, my fraction will be 4/6. And over here, I have 4 pieces as well, and it would be 4/6 and 4/12. Think about which one, just like our pizza, think about, are these the same or are they different? Think about the numerator, the top number, and the denominator, the bottom number. They have the same top number, but the bottoms are different. So let's say we're comparing our fractions using greater than, less than, or equal to. So I look at these and I know that because they have the same numerator, they're not equal to each other. So I have to look and think about which one is bigger. So I know that 4/6 is greater than 4/12, and we need to use our symbol as well. So I would write it like this: 4/6 is greater than 4/12. And how I know this is I look at my piece sizes, and I know these blue squares are a lot bigger than the red squares. And of course, I'd rather split something with 6 people than 12 people because 12 people gives me a smaller piece that I want. So now what we're going to do is I want you to now try drawing these rectangles just like mine on your paper. So I want you to partition the first rectangle into fifths and sevenths, and the second into fifths. So just like I have, you have 7 up here and 5 for the second rectangle. So take a minute, draw it out, and let's get started. I want you to shade 3 units of each rectangle. So shade, when I say 3 units, I mean 3 rectangles, 3 boxes in my big rectangle. And I want you to label the shaded fraction below each rectangle. So up here I have 3 units, which is 3 boxes that I shaded out of 7. And I'm going to shade in my 3 over here out of 5, which is 3 fifths. So I have my 2 rectangles. I have these big rectangles, the same sized shape. And now I need to think about if I'm using greater than or less than, which one is greater than, which one's less than. And we know just by looking at the picture, 3/7 is smaller or less than 3 fifths. And to use with a symbol, I can write it like this. So 3/7 is less than 3 fifths. And again, I know that because my denominator tells me who I'm sharing it with and how many people I need to share it with. So I'd rather get 3 out of 5 than 3 out of 7 because that 7 makes it a little bit smaller and our pieces are smaller with a bigger number. Now, some of you may have noticed we did this the other day. We are going to add it to our number line. This is so important. So I have a starting point of 0 and an ending point of 1 for both my number lines, which go with my 2 fractions here. Now, I need to label my 0. This is very important. So when I have 0 up here, it means I don't have any pieces of my fraction. So just like I have this 0/7 up here, I need it down here for 0 fifths. So I then label my whole. So 1 whole is 7/7 and 5 fifths. We know if I have 5 total pieces out of 5, I have 1 whole rectangle shaded in, and the same thing for 7 pieces. So now I'm going to do my 7ths first. So I'm going to break it into 1/7, 2/7, 3/7. Oh, I shaded this one in because that's what my fraction is here, but I can't stop here. I still have a little bit ways to go. So I have my 4/7, 5/7, 6/7, 7/7. So I labeled all of my fractions from 0 to 1. I broke them into even pieces, and I just did a little color around my fraction that goes with this one over here that we had before. Now I need to do the same thing with 3 fifths. So I already have my 0 fifths and 5 fifths, so I know I need 5 different parts. I don't need 5 lines. These lines, I don't need 5 lines. I need 5 parts of the whole. So I'm going to label it. So I have 1 fifth, 2 fifths, 3 fifths. Oh, I have 3 fifths right here, so I need to shade it in over here. 4 fifths, 5 fifths. So just like I did with my line up here, my 7s up here, I have to break it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces that are equal, and I just shade in with 3 fifths with what I have over here. And we know that 3/7 is less than 3 fifths. So maybe my picture is off. This number line is going to help me out a lot because, number one, it has the same starting and ending points, and I can break it into an equal number of pieces. And with my symbol, I know that 3/7 is less than 3 fifths. So friends, today what you can do is, here's a little game. After you are done your work, you need to think about which is bigger. So take a card game, a deck of cards, and you can play against yourself, against a partner, and you need to take 2 pencils as well. So you flip what, you take a card, put it on top, take another card, put it on the bottom. Then take another card, put it on top, put another one on the bottom, and see, compare these 2 fractions, just like I had here, and which one is bigger. Once you're done, grab all 4 cards, put them to the side, and then do it again. So take one number, put it on top, take another one from the deck of cards, put it on the bottom, and do this as well. It's really fun if you can play with a sibling, a cousin, a family member, because then you can compare and see which numbers are the biggest and who can collect more cards. So today your math job is to see which one, which picture is bigger, and to think about our fractions with the same numerator but different denominator. Alright, so if you need help, please tell your teacher. And today's secret word is the war game, since we are going to be playing a war game with our cards today. Alright, so happy math.